Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
Hi, I'm DKWill, and this is DKWill Talk About It. And back in September of 2022, I did a video about take that to the bank. Well, things have been happening, folks. Things have been happening. Things like what? Well, check this out. Wells Fargo's in a news article yesterday says technical issues are causing customers to report missing deposits. In response to complaints on Twitter, Wells Fargo representatives said that the issue may be leading customers to see incorrect balances or missing transactions, but that their accounts continue to be secure. Do you feel like your accounts are continue to be secure if you look on your bank account and some money's missing? That direct deposit ain't there and it's time for the mortgage or the rent to come out? Where's the money? Look at the domino effect that's going to have. Missing a direct deposit in your Wells Fargo account? Here's what we know. Some Wells Fargo's customers posted online that their direct deposits and scheduled paychecks were missing from their online banking accounts on Friday. It's Saturday right now, folks. It's Saturday around 2 or so in the afternoon in the Central Standard Time of the United States. Let's see what they have to say here.
All new this midday, Wells Fargo says that technical issues are why customers are seeing incorrect balances or missing transactions on their online accounts right now. We've been tracking posts on social media from customers who say their direct deposits and scheduled paychecks were suddenly missing earlier today. Some said that they were at risk of overdrafting because of it. Now, about an hour ago, we did get this response from Wells Fargo, a spokesperson saying that they are aware of this issue and they are working quickly on a resolution, but also stressed that customers' accounts continue to be secure.
I don't know, did that make you feel safe if you're one of those Wells Fargo customers? Oh, there's more. There's more. But in that video I did back in September, I kind of touched on that. And I tried, the reason I do my videos, folks, is because I'm just trying to keep us at least on the cutting edge, at least slightly aware, at least slightly taking note of what's going on around us, because the system is designed to keep your nose to the grindstone, keep you distracted at football games, baseball games, and all types of things. They just keep you distracted while behind the scenes they are burying you until it bubbles to the surface with situations like Wells Fargo. And then also we're going to look at another bank here shortly because I don't want to make this a very long video. But let's listen in on that prior video back in September and see if it isn't timely, because I don't really like to do double work. That's the straight up truth. I don't like to do double work. So let's see if this channel is helping anybody figure something out. So folks, we do not want to end up being like folks like this in Lebanon. People are robbing banks in Lebanon just to get their own money from their accounts. And this young lady, who's not too bad looking, you can imagine if they get a better picture of her, she did it to pay for her sister's cancer bill using a toy gun. That's how desperate people are. Lebanese citizens are robbing their banks to withdraw their own money. 2 banks were robbed in Lebanon by customers who wanted access to their own money. You think they're getting fed up? You think the U.S. is immune if you're a U.S. citizen? And if you're one of the folks in one of these countries watching my videos already, I feel for you. But anywhere you are on the globe, you are not immune to it. And this Wells Fargo event is showing American citizens and all those impacted through Wells Fargo, this is American news that we're watching, that you are not immune to it. And we recall that Wells Fargo is not alone in this ordeal, because there's another event that occurred. Let's listen in on this little bit here and see what's going on.
Get right to our floor show. We've got RBC's head of U.S. Bank Equity Strategy, Gerard Cassidy, and trader Keith Fitzgerald. And Keith, I will start with you. Your overall thoughts between the jobs report and, of course, Silicon Valley Bank and the contagion that has spread through the financial sector.
Silicon Valley Bank and the contagion that has spread through the financial sector.
Well, what's a bank implosion and a few $1 trillion between friends, right, Cheryl? I mean, this is just everything that's wrong with the financial system all rolled into one. You've got highly leveraged stuff, Silicon Valley's arrogance being ground to a halt. You've got ricochets through the system. It's like throwing a stone in the water, only this time you got to watch the ripples.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
that's a very
watch those
interesting way to
ripples.
put it there. Gerard, your take?
What we've seen here is obviously something that's quite dramatic. As of Wednesday afternoon, there was no signs of any problems with Silicon Valley Bank. And here we are Friday, and
There was no signs Wednesday afternoon, and here we are Friday. Oh, I'm gonna help pull it out, folks, because the reason I'm doing this is that video done back in September was done back in September. And now we're in March. That's 6 months ago, folks. So if you weren't prompted to take a look at your situation then, you might be prompted to take a look at your situation now. What by that, what do I mean? I mean, you might want to consider finding alternatives to where you put your money and don't just rely on the banks, because banks have been bailed out. And now we know banks can bail in. And if that don't work, well, banks can just fail. Now he's going to talk a whole bunch of complicated stuff that might not be above, but I'm going to pull out what I can to help us.
the bank is insolvent. Shocking how fast this happened. But it does show very clearly that this problem that they ran into, the last time we saw it was back in the early 1980s when the Fed moved as aggressively with rates, when banks were caught on the wrong side of the trade, like Silicon Valley. So Silicon Valley was long duration on the asset side, and they funded it with hot money, variable rate money, which as soon as the first crack showed up, apparently left the bank, and that's what's caused this problem.
Okay, that's a bunch of malarkey about the first crack showed up. The cracks have been there. And now he's going to talk, financial terminology that's going to be not really for the average individual. But the key point was that it happened quickly and it happened overnight. And now they give reasons why. There's other reasons why that I thought were very interesting in this, and they acknowledge a situation or condition that was allowed to occur. And so I'm going to scroll up and get to that area, at least close, I hope. And we're going to listen in on this, and hopefully I pull a little bit out of that for you too. Let me hope I got it. I hope I do, folks. Bear with me. I'm doing this live and hot off the press. Let's do it. Let's see what this one says.
All right, yeah, and also too, Gerard, and I was looking at your notes and your research from RBC. This is an opportunity, you say, to buy the big banks, which I think is a very interesting comment. And you say here that basically the sell-off yesterday, where you had the four biggest banks lose a combined market cap of $52 billion, that was Citi, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and B of A, you and your analysts, your colleagues say now is the time to buy.
No big deal. $52 billion. And now they're saying, come on in and buy those big banks. We're going to see more of that because the banks are going to shrink. The banks are going to consolidate, folks. The banks are going to consolidate. The entire industry is going to consolidate because on-demand liquidity and real-time payments, cross-border payments too, is going to make a lot of bank services obsolete. But don't think for 1 minute they're going to kill the banks. The banks just need to get their foothold into the new blockchain technology and financial system before they let it fly. But in the meantime, and in between time, they need to control the masses because, see, we're not supposed to get rich from this. We're just supposed to see, oh my God, what are we going to do? And then do exactly what they want us to do. All right, let me calm down and let us keep listening.
And you might maybe see some buying as we move into the end of trading today.
Actually, that's what we're seeing. It's interesting, and you pointed it out in the opening that JP Morgan's up today. And I think what investors are finding, the dedicated bank stock investors recognize that this problem is unique to Silicon Valley. There may be one or two others, but this is not a systemic problem like 08 and 09 was. This bank was very different than the average bank. And one of the key metrics, and you touched on it, the core consumer deposits are so critical in this kind of environment. And Silicon Valley had 2.5% of their deposit mix in core consumer deposits. Your typical big bank has anywhere from 30 to 50% of deposits in this core.
Let me
consumer
I
deposit
talked
area,
over that. I'm
which
sorry.
are
Listen
very
to this.
safe, very sticky.
They had
They
2.5%
2.5%.
in their core deposits of demand deposits. That's your and my money, folks, that you put in the bank. So if you think it's sitting there waiting for you to come and get it, you're wrong. Now let's listen to this again, and I'm gonna try to shut up.
Of their deposit mix in core consumer deposits. Your typical big bank has anywhere from 30 to 50% of.
Anywhere from 30 to 50%. They had a 2%. You don't know what your bank has, do you? Neither do I. Well, I bank with Bank of America primarily, so I know that they're tied in the Ripple, so I feel relatively safe. But that only safe enough to leave enough money in there to pay my bills. Okay, so that's all we're gonna go from there. So it's here, it's coming, and like I said, I don't want to do. I'm gonna finish out with this other video now. There's another video I did too where it talked about India changing the time on their bank hours and everything. There's a wave, there's a ripple coming across the globe, folks, and it's coming from east to west. And the U.S. has been being kept in the dark, but it's here now, and it's gonna turn into a tsunami. And even though I've been pretty busy and haven't been able to put videos out, I felt motivated to put this video out, and I hope it benefits those who have made it this far. I hope you tell a friend or phone a friend or whatever and share this information, because it's time for people in the United States to consider, what are you going to do with your money, because your money's going to get tied up in the banks. Your money might even disappear from the banks. Your money might even get bailed in from the banks. Your banks might even fail, because there is a inferno that's going to occur. It's not going to be very long, and out of that inferno is where that phoenix is going to rise. And that phoenix is going to be primarily probably XRP, on-demand liquidity, the XRPL, and things of that nature. The blockchain technology that has value, the coins that have utility, those are going to still be around, and this is preparing for it. Some banks failed to get ready for the Basel IV. Some banks are failing to get ready for the ISO 20022 compliance in the messaging system. That's on them. They're going to fail. But in the meantime, we have to stay safe. So let me let this end of the video talk here and see if I'm happy with it, and then I'll call this quits. But if not, hey, I'll be on the other side, waiting to talk some more. Because see, China's been having bank runs, and they froze up to 1.5 billion of clients' funds already. When was already? Well, this article was published in July, folks, of 2022. And they halted withdrawals. Have you been having any trouble getting to your banks? Folks, you know I do what I do because I try to get us ahead of what's coming. And whether you like this paradigm I'm giving you or not, this is a paradigm that's very likely going to become a reality. And so that being said, this is a heads up, folks. This is a heads up in my mind, because this is going to be a reality. You'll notice this guy with the patches on, this is us. That guy's behind the window, okay? He's behind the window of this bank. And he's got a government arm holding a gun to his back. Carry on. That's my microwave. I apologize for that if you heard it. And he's the one holding the gun. So maybe don't bank on it is a good idea. Maybe considering other alternatives of where you're going to put your money is also a good idea. Hope that you can see. Don't bank on it. Well, I think that says enough. I'm DKWill. This is DKWill Talk About It, and I've talked about it. I think I'll finish out with a very familiar and foretelling video. Let's check it out. Y'all have a wonderful day.
What do you mean the bank is out of money? Insolvent? You only have enough cash for the next 3 customers! Hey,
just a second here. No, I don't have your money here. It's in Bill's house and Fred's house.
Hey, what the hell you doing with my money in your house, Fred?
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.